Welcome, y'all. Of course, as you see, I do have the hoodie on. This video will be talking about the updates of the Trayvon Martin case now that it is a case, and I'm not too happy about what I have to report today. All right. I once again want to thank y'all for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel and get your updates. I always encourage people to also, stay informed as well. Moving along, there have been some updates in the George Zimmerman trial. Um, Before I get into what those updates are, I'll just give you a bit of a prologue. Um, the judge, there's a new judge in the George Zimmerman case. The previous judge had recused herself. It turns out that she pointed out what I believe was also was a conflict of interest. The previous judge, who's a female, her husband is employed by a law firm that is currently working with CNN, doing their legal analyst work on this case and other legal related matters that they cover. So the judge felt it necessary when she got this case to let the lawyers know in case anybody thought there may be a conflict of interest. And at first, George Zimmerman's lawyer, Mark O'Meara, said, it wasn't really a big deal. Then later came back and said that he would like for her to step aside. All right. I guess, you know, wanting to keep the integrity of this case high, she decided to go ahead and recuse herself. Now, I think it really took some balls to make that request. Mark O'Meara really, showed his if you want to say his testicular fortitude, or really just show how serious he is about his client, which is what anybody paying good money for a defense attorney wants to see. So she steps aside, and now a new judge had been appointed, and so we move forward. But I think the act that Mark O'Meara took kind of set the pace for the case. I think it also communicated to the other side, the prosecution and the state, that he's not going to take this case lightly. All right. I mean, it's a high profile case. Why should he? So here we are. Zimmerman had a bail hearing um, day before yesterday. In that bail hearing, he did something that most people on trial don't do. He took the stand. And in taking the stand, he apologized to the family of Trayvon Martin. I mean, he's in his own words. And I think, although it may be a strategy of the defense, it was a good one. All right. Now, this whole apology thing may also hurt Trayvon's case, because a couple weeks ago, I don't know if y'all caught it in the news, but Trayvon's parents were on one of the morning shows on, I think it was ABC, Good Morning America. And Trayvon Martin's mom went and said that she believes that the death was an accident, and that George Zimmerman, something to the effect that George Zimmerman did not mean to kill their son, and she believes it was an accident. Now, this came after George Zimmerman's lawyer had apologized to the Martin family, and later on, after it was said, Trayvon Martin's the Martins lawyers went out to on some of the shows, and said that no, she misspoke, that she was just saying that, some to the she was trying they were trying to clean it up, because they knew that that comment may have affected the integrity of the case. Okay, I mean, if the parents realized that it was an accident, is what the defense will say. If the parents realized that it was an accident, then why punish this man for something that was obviously an accident? So they had to walk that back. But in the bail hearing, like I said, George Zimmerman took the stand and spoke. His lawyer, of course, threw him softball questions, and he answered them. But people got a chance to hear him in his own words apologize, also in a way, I guess, trying to say that it was an accident and he didn't intend to kill their son. All right. But it'll be interesting to see how things move forward. Now, the prosecution had an opportunity to cross examine Mr. Zimmerman. They declined, which was also a good strategy on their part. I think, number one, they weren't ready. Number two, like I said, number one, they weren't prepared for that. They didn't expect George Zimmerman to take the stand. but also they don't want to give away their case. I mean, it's a bail hearing, you know, and of course everything said in that bail hearing will go on record. Now, like I said, it's very unusual for someone to take the stand in their own defense in a bail hearing. So we'll see how George Zimmerman's words come back to hurt him down the line. Now, but like I said, it also goes to show the balls, the testicular fortitude of Mr. Marco Mayer, which is also showing that he believes that his client is innocent enough to take the stand in his bail hearing, and also anticipate that he'll take the stand at his own trial as well. Now, some are saying that the prosecution, with them not being prepared and not wanting to cross-examine George Zimmerman, are a bit ill prepared, and this case may not go in the prosecution's favor, which means possibly no justice for Trayvon. Some are saying that the prosecution overcharged. I don't think so. I think they undercharged. They should have went for first degree murder, but they went for second degree. Okay, but you know the bail was granted. It was granted at $150,000 bail. George Zimmerman has to come up with $15,000 of that, which I don't think would be a problem for his family. So $15,000 bail paid, $15,000 paid on $150,000 bond. George Zimmerman will be temporarily a free man. He'll have to wear an ankle monitor, but he'll be a free man, free to walk about, unlike Trayvon Martin. Now, in a way, I kind of feel like this whole case is a ruse. I've said in the beginning in my previous videos that I don't believe that George Zimmerman will be found guilty. I believe that he'll eventually be acquitted, and this kind of goes to set it up. The prosecution, in my opinion, if they're not going to fight this case, if they're not going to use everything in their power to see to it that George Zimmerman does some time, then I think they should just go ahead and just throw in the towel now. I think they should just let Zimmerman go, drop the charges. If you're not gonna fight for Trayvon, if you're not gonna fight for justice, then free George Zimmerman. That's all I gotta say about that. Free George Zimmerman.